walked into the room with that quiet energy, not the kind that demands attention, not the kind that arrives loudly or tries to be seen, but the kind that shifts something invisible, something subtle, something you don't notice at first until you realize the air feels different, like a calm has entered without asking permission, like the noise of everything else has softened just a little. And I didn't even understand what was happening in that room. I just felt it. The way my thoughts flowed, the way my eyes found her without trying, the way something in me leaned forward, curious, drawn, almost as if my heart recognized something before my mind could catch up. And she didn't try to impress anyone, didn't try to fill the room with words or laughter or movement. She simply existed in it. And somehow that was enough, more than enough, because there was something about her stillness, something about the way she carried herself, like she was not here to prove anything, not here to compete for attention, not here to be measured by anyone's expectations. And that kind of presence, that kind of quiet confidence doesn't shout, but it lingers, it stays. It leaves an imprint you don't even realize it's gone until it's already there, already part of how you see the room, how you feel the moment. And I remember watching her in those small, unnoticed ways. The way she moved without rush, the way she listened when someone spoke, not just hearing but actually listening. The way her eyes held a depth that made you wonder what she had seen, what she had lived, what stories she eyed quietly behind that calmness. And it made me feel something deeper than attraction, something closer to respect, curiosity, to a kind of admiration that grows slowly but roots itself firmly. She walked into the room with that quiet energy. Somehow it felt like she wasn't just entering a space, she was bringing something with her, something that couldn't be explained, something that didn't need to be explained. And I found myself noticing things I wouldn't notice. The way the light seemed softer around her, the way conversations shifted slightly when she was near, the way even silence felt different, less empty, more full, as if her presence alone gave it to me. I didn't approach her right away, not because I didn't want to, but because something about her made me feel, made me take a moment to understand what I was feeling, because it wasn't rushed, it wasn't overwhelming in the usual way, it was steady, it was grounded, it was the kind of feeling that doesn't push you forward but gently pulls you closer. And I realized that this is what rare feels like, this is what something real feels like, not loud, not dramatic, but quietly undeniable. And when our eyes finally met, it wasn't a moment that needed exaggeration, it wasn't something that demanded music or meaning, it was simple, brief. But in that simplicity there was something that stayed, something that echoed long after, something that made me think about her even when I wasn't looking at her anymore and I didn't understand it fully. I just knew it mattered. She walked deep into the room with that quiet energy, and she didn't take anything from it. She didn't change herself to fit in. She didn't ask it to notice her, and yet somehow everything noticed her anyway. Everything adjusted in its own subtle way, and I think that's what made it so powerful. The fact that it wasn't forced, it wasn't performed, it wasn't something she tried to do, it was simply who she was. And that kind of authenticity, that kind of presence, it's rare, it's something you don't come across often. And now, even after that moment has passed, even after the room has returned to what it was before, I still feel it, still carry that quiet shift with me, still think about how one person, without saying much, without doing anything extraordinary, can leave such a lasting impression, can create a feeling that lingers long after they are gone. And I find myself hoping, not in a desperate way, but in a calm, steady way, that this isn't the end of that moment, that it's just the beginning of something I don't fully understand yet, but I'm willing to explore, willing to feel, willing to let go in its own time. Because she didn't just walk into the room, she walked into my awareness, into my thoughts, into something deeper that I didn't even realize was open. that she has, now that I've felt that quiet energy, I don't think I can go back and not noticing it, not feeling it, not wondering about it. Because some presences don't fade, they settle, they stay, they become part of you in ways you didn't expect. And she, in that quiet, effortless way, has already begun to do that, without trying, without asking, just by doing exactly this. And even now, long after that moment has passed, I find myself returning to it in the quiet corners of my day, replaying it not because it was loud or unforgettable in the way most people describe it, but because it was different, because it stayed with me in a way that feels almost impossible to explain, like a soft echo that doesn't fade, like a presence that lingers even when the person is no longer in it. And I keep asking myself what it was, what made it feel so distinct, so quietly powerful. And the only answer I keep coming back to is her, just her, exactly as she was, without effort, without performance, without trying to be anything more or less than herself. And I think about how rare that is, how often people put spaces with noise, with movement, with attempts to be seen, to be noticed, to be remembered. And yet, she did none of that. She simply existed. And somehow, that existence spoke louder than anything else in the room. And I realize now that what I felt wasn't just attraction, it was recognition. Not of something familiar, but of something genuine, something unfiltered, something that doesn't try to convince you, it just is. And that kind of truth, that kind of quiet authenticity, it doesn't come around often. And when it does, you feel it, even if you don't fully understand it. And I find myself wondering about her, not in a restless or impatient way, but in a thoughtful, almost careful way. Like I don't want to disturb the calm that surrounds the thought of her. Like I don't want to rush something that clearly wasn't meant to be rushed. That in itself, F is new to me. Because I'm used to things being fast, obvious, immediate, but this feels slower, deeper. Something that asks for patience instead of urgency. Something that grows in silence rather than in noise. She walked into the room with that quiet energy, and somehow she left with something of mine without even knowing it. Not something tangible, not something I can name easily, but something internal, something that now feels connected to the idea of her, to the memory of that moment, to the possibility of something more. And I don't feel like I've lost anything. Not really. It feels more like something has been opened, like a door I didn't realize was there, has quietly unlocked. And now I'm standing in front of it, not rushing through, just acknowledging that it exists. And I wonder if she felt anything at all, if that moment meant anything on her side, or if it was just another ordinary passing moment in her day. And strangely, that thought doesn't trouble me as much as I would expect, because whatever it was, whatever I felt, it was real to me. It mattered in its own quiet way, and not everything needs to be shared easily. Sometimes a moment can belong to one person more than the other and still carry its own truth. I hold on to that, not tightly, not in a way that tries to control what happens next, but gently, like something fragile but not weak, something that deserves space, something that deserves time. And I think that if there is more to this, if there is another moment, another meeting, another chance for that quiet energy to exist between us again, it will come naturally, without force, without pressure, just the way the first moment did, unannounced, effortless,